7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. Of course we're missing Ryan Speaks Geek, but he's having trouble logging on, so he will join us in a bit. But for the time being, you just got me and Sorrell. Obviously, as always, check out geekweekinreview.co.uk. All the socials and all the links and all that are all on there. And if you're listening to us on podcast, then keep doing what you're doing because we do appreciate you. So, what are we talking about this week? It's been a bit of a
quiet week.
Yeah, it's not been a huge amount going on, but still enough to talk about. Loads of deliveries going out this week. Loads of especially Marvel Legends. People have been getting Marvel Legends left, right, and centre. I mean, I for one have had like 19 figures drop in a couple of days, which is just madness. I was just like, it was just a bit of a running joke with my missus. She's like, I got another box. I was like, oh, no.
another box.
Yeah, here comes another one. But yeah, there's loads coming out. I got my hands on the Black Panther wave. I was a bit late on the starting block with that one. I had it in transit and stuff, and it just turned up a little bit later than other people, so a little bit late kind of getting those, but I'm pleased to have it, especially with Wakanda Forever coming out on Friday. Are you going to go and see it? You've seen it this weekend?
I might do. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. I might do.
No, I'm really keen for it.
I don't do the cinema these days. I've got really out of the habit of going. That's the problem.
Oh, really?
Like the only film I've seen at the cinema in the last 6 months has been Halloween. Halloween Ends.
Oh, really?
That's the only film I've seen in 6 months.
I did not go and see that. Didn't go and see that. No, I'm really excited for Wakanda Forever. I don't know. There's kind of there's a few different things, a few different reasons. Like obviously, Namor coming into the MCU is a big one because he's, one of the oldest characters in Marvel. What's it called? Marvel kind of history, Marvel comic books history.
The original movie.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot kind of tied in with this one, obviously with like passing of Chadwick Boseman and the kind of the honouring of him as well as the character. And I'm just really curious from a fan's point of view to see how they deal with the death and how, because obviously T'Challa's not in the film, so I wonder whether they're going to kind of mirror it, whether it's going to be a similar kind of thing, or
they seem to have gone down there, because don't they mention in the trailer that he's passed away as well? Don't they say something about him dying in the trailer, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, in the trailer there's like a big funeral scene.
Yeah,
there's like a big funeral scene.
I'm guessing they're going to do like a parallel kind of thing that is passed on, and
I mean it's
without its leader kind of thing.
But I think what's interesting is that's not something that has been like discussed on any of the kind of interviews or the like I say the trailers or anything like that, because so there must be something there. I mean, I don't think they're going to go down the kind of cheesy route of that, he was killed by some kind of supervillain and they're going to seek revenge or anything like that. It's not going to be something like that. But yeah, there's lots, and they're teasing the female Black Panther more and more now in the trailers, but they've still not kind of officially said who it is. Although if you've read a comic book in the last however many years, then it's a pretty good guess who it is. But in a lot of ways, I kind of really hope it's somebody that we don't expect, so that there's a big pop moment. But yeah, like a couple of people saying in the comments about avoiding social media and YouTube and stuff until they've seen it. I'm kind of the same. I'm trying to avoid as much as I can.
I'll probably will go see it because I don't want to be spoiled too much. We already know quite a bit thanks to Lego, but I want to try and avoid. They're the buggers for it, aren't they? I want to try and avoid it. I probably will go someday and check it out, probably, or the weekend again. Like you say, I do kind of hope that it isn't Shuri, because yeah, as much as she does don it in the costume, don the mask and stuff in the comics, it would be nice to see something different for the big screen. Plus,
Yeah.
Shuri's kind of a cool character now in her own right. She doesn't require the Black Panther name and stuff. She's Shuri. She's her own character, especially with Ironheart. She's in their comics. It's Shuri mostly. She very rarely puts on the costume, does she? In the modern comics,
Yeah, no, exactly.
She's Shuri. She's Shuri, and she's into technology and has her own kind of way of doing stuff.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know if there's someone I'd rather it went to. I don't know.
The lady, I could never say. I can never pronounce the names. I'm rubbish with names. But the lady who is like the leader of the guard. Is she called Okoye?
Okoye. Yeah.
It'd be cool if you went to her, because she's like stone cold. Like, she was his bodyguard, his protector. She loved the guy. She was like a stone cold killer. It'd be awesome to see her don the mask and stuff.
Yeah, she would make a good. So that got a hello from New York City there in the comments. Hello, love New York City. New York City is very close to my home. Close to my home, close to my heart. Spent a couple of years out there. But yeah, I just female Black Panther. That's. I also hope that, because we've seen it in the trailer, I hope that it's not much more than what we've seen in the trailer, because it looks very much like it's one scene, like what we've seen. It's not showing multiple scenes. So I still would love it. Scene.
I still would love it if what I said originally is true, and that basically they find, then obviously, T'Challa's passed away. They require someone to take on the role of being the Black Panther or whatever. They find out about this tech genius girl, and stuff, and she Ironheart, and she kind of like dons the costume maybe, for like that one scene where they first fight Namor, and maybe maybe that power isn't like the Black Panther power alone isn't enough, and that's why she goes away to make her costume, and then comes back as the Ironheart. That would be, to me, that's like a good little storyline.
Cool.
Because then it's like a whole thing of saying, no one can replace T'Challa, because by donning the costume, getting the power, and kicking the bad guy's ass, to me that's saying we don't need T'Challa. So it'd be cool to kind of leave the memory of him sort of alone now, move away from Black Panther, and kind of say, no one else can don that costume because it's Chadwick Boseman. It's his character.
Yeah,
no one can replace him, kind of thing.
No, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because they need to kind of make the story good, but they obviously need to be, respectful of him and that stuff. And that's from all the interviews and the red carpets, the premieres and stuff. Like, it looks very much like they're doing that, which is cool. But no, I'm actually going to see, because sometimes the cinema near me does like a midnight showing, and I think if they're doing a midnight showing of it, I'm going to have to go to see it at midnight on Friday night, just because I know I said I'd avoided most spoilers, but I do know one spoiler. I'm not going to say it now on the show, but somebody did send me a link to something, and what it's like people send you links and stuff, and people kind of assume that we want to hear all this stuff all the time, but sometimes I don't. So I clicked the link. I was like, oh no, I didn't want to read that. So I've not opened any other links. But yeah, speaking of spoilers and stuff, I thought about this the other day. I don't know why it came into my head, but do you remember I shared that picture of the Love and Thunder poster?
Yeah.
And it kind of went mental, like it was being shared.
Yeah. I remember that.
It was literally just like some little local group on Facebook, local shop on Facebook, posting their new products, and I just shared it, and it went mad. But I remember everyone was commenting on it. Like, even Taika Waititi replied on Twitter to somebody saying this is not an official poster. It looks amazing, but this is not official. But it was. It so was. Everything in it was official. And I thought about that today for some reason. I was like, hang on, there's not been a follow up. Going, this was real. But yeah, I don't know. And somebody's saying about post-credit scenes as well. And I have no idea what the post-credit scene would be. Is there going to be a post-credit scene? are they gonna do a sign off like they did at the end of Endgame? You know, like with Chadwick Boseman, because that would be a nice little touch, I think. Like, you know, the signature kind of credits, that would be cool. But yeah,
I reckon it'll be something cheesy, just like the Ironheart will return. It'll be something like that.
Yeah. Did you hear the latest rumor about Ironheart though? I think we briefly covered it last week with Nerdzoic that Mephisto is due to show up in Ironheart.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah,
A bit of a random one for Mephisto to show up in that.
Well, I don't know though, because if you think about it, the Hood's in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've already said the Hood's going to be in it, and that's got like that character's got demonic kind of ties and stuff. So it could be an easy way to kind of tie Mephisto in, but
it's weird because Ironheart's not a character I associate with demonic.
It's going to be
at all.
No, it's going to be tech versus like magic.
Good.
I'm not sure how it's going to work. Like, I hope
it
works. But...
In the MCU, they do always that they did that very cool saying, which I kind of really like, which is magic and what we call magic is just science we yet to understand. I love that phrase that Banner said.
Yeah.
Like Asgardian stuff. It isn't godly stuff. It's just a certain element or science we've yet to understand as the human race. I think that's a really cool way of saying it, because I like that idea of anything in our world that we consider paranormal, weird. It's just science we yet to understand. That's a great little phrase.
Yeah. I'm just looking up now. I'm trying to find out whether I can go and see this at midnight on Friday or not now.
Please, Jacob buys his tickets for the film.
Shall I tell you what I started watching last night again from episode 1? Stranger Things.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, my daughter wanted to watch it, and so I was kind of like, okay, we can do this. And yeah, we put it on last night and started watching it again, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Like, I forgot how good this was.
It's a great program. I've watched it several times over. I love Stranger Things.
There is no midnight showing. Oh man, I'm actually a bit disappointed about that. Yeah. Yeah. No.
No midnight showing for Jacob.
I'm really disappointed. Really disappointed by that. No midnight showing. I'm going to see it at 9:30 in the morning, but no one's going to do that. But yeah, no, Stranger Things is really cool. Like, and I forgot how eerie that first series is. Like, it's
quite dark.
Scary. Yeah, quite scary. But watching it now, knowing about Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff, it was a completely different experience, like watching it. So yeah. Did you round off the Power of the Ring, Power of the Lord of the Rings, Power of the Rings?
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a great program. By the end of that was awesome.
Yeah, it was very good, wasn't it?
It took a while to get into it. It took a bit to get into, but it came off good in the end. It all fell into place by the end, which I loved.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm rubbish with like the Tolkien names, like the names of all the elves and the dwarfs and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm no good with remembering who's who.
So this is like my wife's shining area. This is when I realized how much I love my wife, because I was sat talking to her and she's like correcting me on Lord of the Rings lore. Like we're on about like the dwarf is called Durin. But I remember in The Hobbit, it was the mountain of Durin or something. And my wife's like, the kingdom of Durin, and it's King Durin, and he's the fourth king called Durin. I'm like, how do you know this shit?
All right, next week we'll be replacing SuperSorrell with Mrs. SuperSorrell.
Her fantasy, so like anything Lord of the Rings and like Harry Potter, and my missus is all over it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Look, Stephen's there in the comments. Watch Tales of the Jedi based on last week's recommendations. I've still not finished it.
Me neither.
I'm not going to lie. Haven't finished it. I'm a couple of episodes in, but it is really good though. It is really, really good. It's a really good show. I was talking to somebody though, like while we're on Star Wars, let's talk Andor. Why Ryan's not here.
Oh no.
I'm gutted that Ryan's not here yet for this, but I was talking to a friend of mine who's really into his Star Wars and really into. It's actually someone I work with, funny enough. He's really into his Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And he was saying about how good Andor is and asking me my opinion, and I was like, yeah, I don't mind it. And he was like, what? Blah, 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 blah. But then I came to the realization that because it's the same kind of along the same vein as Rogue One, if I had watched Rogue One in 8 parts, I don't think I would have seen it through.
No.
Like, I think if you think about it in that context, if you had split Rogue One up into 30-minute episodes and dragged it out, I don't think as many people would have followed it all the way through. Like, so the reason I'm not watching Andor now is because I want to binge watch it. I want to watch it almost as like a couple of movies. So that's my excuse now to Ryan when he asks if I've watched it.
With Rogue One, I remember because it was at that time when we still had a Disney store and they released the products prior to the film coming out. We had a Force Friday event. So I remember I made a video with my wife. We went to Disney store. I bought up like all the elite figures because they call them elites, the big metal ones. I bought up like all the elites. And I remember having this whole team of characters that I had no idea about. And then like I reviewed all of them. I like binged these reviews out in the course of 24 hours. And like they got thousands of hits and everyone was like, oh my God. Like, so I was proper on this hype train. And then I went to see the film and I loved it because it was like, oh, it's that character. Oh, it's that character. Because I had the figure.
Yeah.
And I was like reviewed it that week. So I was like riding the hype train. But then looking back, like second and third viewing of that film, I was like, yeah, this isn't that great. It's not that great. It's all right.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because
like if maybe like we'd have had some product prior to the program coming out, and I might have got a bit more hype for it because that's how I get involved. Is like through the figures, obviously.
It's funny though because talking of that, like as a kid, that was my way into things. Is that you saw all the figures in the shop or the toys in the shop, and you would. It felt like when I was younger, it felt like months and months that these products were in the stores, sitting on the shelves. You would buy them, you would kind of play games with them. Because we didn't have the internet, all you knew was what you read in magazines or what you read in like the newspaper or saw on like MTV specials or whatever it was. And it was the toys and it was the imagination of like what you could do with these toys and what these figures, like what they sounded like, what they acted like, all that kind of stuff. And they just don't seem to have that nowadays, like at all. And I think sort of now in, you know, as an adult being in the kind of remit of kind of looking at action figures and reviewing action figures and stuff, you know, like look at the Black Panther, for example. Now I know Marvel Legends are, you know, they're not necessarily a in every child's hand toy. They are aimed at more the adult collectors market. But even still, we only got the images for these figures a few months back, and then the product has only been landing in people's hands the last couple of weeks, and the film comes out on Friday. So there's not a lot of time for you to, like, I've got the figures, they arrive this weekend. I probably won't have them all out of the box before I see the film on Friday. On Friday.
Now we live in a world of spoilers, and Hollywood are like doing everything they can to stop the plot of the movie getting out. You didn't have that when we were growing up. So like, yes, you might get a Batman Returns figure that's in a certain way, but you wouldn't find out until you went to the cinema why that figure looked like that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas nowadays we can see several trailers and you'll see something and then somebody will have a leaked image on the internet and it goes out like wildfire, then everybody knows about it. So it's like a different time now. It's that like innocence has gone.
Batman is a really good example of that, because do you remember the old Batman films, especially like around Batman, like the first one and Batman Returns, and they released all the figures and there was like 15 different suits, wasn't there? There was like Scuba Batman and you'd get all these figures and then you'd watch the film and be like, none of my toys showed up in the film. Like none of these suits were in the film, but you'd buy into the hype of the movie because of these figures and these toys. And it's, I just find it really odd. Like with my kids now, there's no hype train because of figures. It's not like they get something at Christmas and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to go and see this film when it comes out because I love this toy so much. It's now more a case of they see something and then they're going, oh, there's a figure for the film that I like. Like, can I get that? Like, it's just it's a real shame. It's a real shame. I really enjoyed that hype train, that building up. But that's like the Toys R Us era, isn't it? Like, it is. The Toys R Us era.
Speaking of getting nostalgic and really enjoying something, do you know what I finally got around to watching this week? Jurassic Park Dominion.
You know what? I saw it the other week as well.
finally got around to it. And you know what? After I was like watching it, and then I was literally about halfway through the film, and I find myself scrolling Amazon looking for Mesozoic monsters, and find myself looking for velociraptors, and I'm like, this is cool. I want some of these bad boys. And I have to stop myself.
I didn't mind it. I actually didn't mind it. I think
good film.
Yeah.
There was a lot I sat watching it with my mum and dad and Lynn, and it kept everyone's attention for the entire film. And like my parents could sit and watch it because the original cast were in it, and it kind of it was like nostalgic for everyone because everyone remembers that original movie. So to see all the characters back is kind of really cool.
It was, I mean, it wasn't offensive as it wasn't as offensive as I think people made out it was. There were a couple of random dinosaurs in it that didn't make sense. Like it was like, what's the point in that dinosaur? What's the point in this? But overall, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like this is all right.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say I was the same. I was kind of like, do I get some new dinosaur toys? I said to my son, I was like, I might get rid of all my Marvel figures and just buy dinosaurs. He's like, no, don't do it. I was like, okay, all right, I won't.
Well, the thing is, right, this is where I got excited because obviously I'm looking at like the Mattel dinosaurs and I'm like, well, they're all right. The pocket money toys, they're okay. They're just all right. Yeah. But then have you seen Beasts of the Mesozoic?
No. Well, I have, but not in hand.
Yeah, but I'd say you need to go look at Beasts of Mesozoic and then get hyped because they've got like some amazing looking products and they're like highly articulated and they're all 6-inch scale.
What kind of price are we looking at though?
Oh, it's like about 40 to 50. Because they're imports. They're import figs, so they're about the same as a figure arts. But the quality looking figures. Like they've got a Triceratops that just looks amazing. Like I had to stop myself from pressing buy on that bad boy.
Wow.
And like some nice ones.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I was looking like if I was going to buy some dinosaurs, I want some collectible friendly like dinosaurs.
Yeah. I can't even reach it. It's up there, but I've got some of the amber collection, or I've got one of the amber collection, which is just the Velociraptor, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It's a really good figure. But yeah, no, I'm bookmarking that page right now. Right now.
Did you like some of the callbacks in that film though? Like, so there were so many little callbacks.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was the silly little jokes and like you say, the little callbacks and stuff. Like I didn't mind it.
Walking around the car as the T-Rex were walking around it, and the way she shouted "run" and stuff like that, and like the way, it was just little
Jeff Goldblum's shirt being like open and stuff.
Oh, they put some button up.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think the only thing that jarred with me was the extra character, the extra girl that was kind of like just introduced in this movie. I was like, there were so many other people in the Jurassic Park franchise that you could have filled that role with. And it's a shame that you've kind of introduced someone new, because I spent a lot of the time thinking, am I supposed to know her? Like, who's her parents? Like, you know, when's Vince Vaughn showing up? Like, it's kind of like
it would have been cool to see Vince Vaughn or Julianne Hough. Sorry, not Julianne Hough. What's she called? Julianne Moore. Moore?
Yeah.
Cool to see one of them two turn up again. I mean, that would have been cool.
But you know, truth be told, I've never actually like disliked the Jurassic Park film.
No, never. They're just easy watching adventure movies for me.
Yeah.
I liked the style for this film and being a bit more. It wasn't stuck on an island somewhere. It was like scattered across the world and stuff, and I liked the more action elements to it this time around.
Yeah,
it was a lot more fast paced and stuff.
I think the difficulty that this film faced as well, that I don't think anyone's really taken into consideration, is that it also, all of the other films, when they came out, they were the only Jurassic Park franchise going at the time. Whereas when this film was coming out, you had Camp Cretaceous that was on like 5 seasons at the time, and had a really strong following, and you know, people really enjoyed where that story was going. And I found myself enjoying, even though it was an animated show that I sat down and watched with my kids, I found myself enjoying that more than I enjoyed the film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we've got somebody arrived at last, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
Ryan Speaks Geek in his blockbuster hat. I love it. I was like, why is Ryan getting all trendy? But it's blockbuster. I see it.
What do you mean? What's more trendy than Blockbuster?
Speaking of
Blockbusters is still open though, right? What will happen to Blockbuster?
Has anyone actually seen the Netflix show Blockbuster yet?
Not yet. I need to.
No, I watched the documentary on ITV Hub about the last Blockbuster though. That was really good.
Yeah, see, that documentary looks good, but this is like a comedy show based on the last Blockbuster, and it's got like Randall Park, as in Jimmy Woo from WandaVision. It's got
Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, I can never remember the actor's name, but yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There's lots of people in it that are really good, and the reviews on it are really mixed. People are saying that it's either not anywhere near as good as it should be, or it's brilliant. You know, they're kind of in two places, but I enjoy it as a bit of a background television show. It's worth watching, but I wouldn't skip work to watch it, if that makes sense. Yeah, we were just talking. We have a little bit of a nostalgic trip. We've done Andor. We've done no, I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Of course, you've done Andor because you never started Andor, so you're already finished.
No, I stuck up for it this week, and I'll give you a very brief catch up, just because I don't want to bore everyone that is watching. But basically, I said that I'm saving it up to binge watch it, so that I can enjoy it more like a feature film as opposed to short series. So I am actually getting to the stage now where I'm getting excited about it coming back. That makes sense?
Yeah. Cool. Doesn't mean I can talk to anyone about it still.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of Star Wars, though, Fortnite's doing a bit of a Star Wars crossover. Have you seen all the Star Wars stuff on Fortnite?
Yeah, I'm really trying to contain my excitement, but I am struggling with it at the moment.
Oh, right, we're talking Star Wars. No, but
it might be Star Wars, but that's like me being excited about, like, you could say, like, on that argument, you could say, oh, here's a brick with someone scratched the word Star Wars in it and expect me to be excited about it. Like, I just, you know me, I just don't get Fortnite.
Fortnite's a great time killer. I'm not gonna lie, it is a great time killer. If I've got 20 minutes, I'm just like, yeah, load it up, victory royale, happy days, shut it down. But no, it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars week on there, so they've just put all the skins on there, which are just like, certain ones make sense. Like, you know, Han Solo running around with a gun makes sense to me, but it doesn't make sense to me to have someone like Obi-Wan Kenobi running around with a gun. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Ryan, you look like you're in a business meeting and we're just like annoyingly in the side.
Well, it's just the way I've had to set up because of the cable. Like, because I've had a nightmare of internet, so I've got a cable, so I can only go. So that's why it's at the angle, because like this is basically how it's got to be today.
So are you filming from this angle, but yet your monitor's over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered why you kept turning.
Yeah.
Ryan's monitoring the chat.
But also, what you got to remember is, like, I'm not as skilled as us. Ash is an old-handed, so Ash is always playing like a video game or something just behind what you were doing. Ash has always got that going on. Jake's definitely always got like an action figure hand. I'm just the only guy who just on camera starts playing with toys or just starts looking off into vacant directions. I'm just not obviously skilled enough yet. I'm still new to the YouTube world. You guys are like pros. Like, Ash has already completed 3 games while I've been talking. He's going to tell me what skins he just unlocked on Fortnite.
It was that week when Jacob went away when I started playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles midway through a live stream. Oh,
well, yeah. Well, what was it? There was a video like a few months back, and your game started being like, you know, it was almost like Shaun of the Dead. It was almost like player 1 has entered the game or something like that. It was like, what was that? Yeah, I am doing like the full like kind of old 90s thing apparently, where I'm doing like the IT guy in the chair type thing, where I've got one thing here and I'm typing here and it goes like this, and then.
Where did you get the Blockbuster hat? I need to know this.
I don't know, because you know I'm kind of worried that then everyone's going to have one, because obviously I'm such a major YouTube personality.
They would.
I'm worried that all 4 of my subscribers might end up having them as well. You know,
I would definitely get one.
No. This is the thing. This is what bugs me, right? Why is there Greg's clothes in Primark? like Greg's. You want to go around going, oh, look, I'm wearing a sausage roll. Smeg off, all right? But then you got something like Blockbuster, and you're like, that's a brand that has nostalgia and purpose. It makes more sense. Greg's is across the road from Primark. And also, like, normally I just, yeah, but Blockbuster's awesome. There should be a Primark line of Blockbuster stuff.
So where did you get it?
Oh, I was really hoping
He's
that
not
would
going to
have
tell
distracted you.
It's all right. You haven't got to tell us. You haven't got to
all you got to do is go on to Etsy.
Oh, is it Etsy product?
Etsy,
oh, okay.
And there's one company that they've got a couple of different styles. So I think I've got this one, and I think I might pick up the other one as well. So because I'm actually going to start doing YouTube again, and not just randomly appearing in Geek Week and pretend I'm still a YouTuber. So I will actually start doing some content. I haven't even posted my interview from Comic-Con yet. Of that. Yeah. I did the panel for the Star Wars one, but I did the panels. I haven't done the interview. I'll do it this week. But and I was like, I want to start talking about movies, and I was like, I want something that obviously has something a bit different from when I'm talking about my toys. I always have backdrops, don't I? Like, and so I got like the most 80s, 90s type style backdrop that I could find, like generic sort of bedding, curtain type material. I went and I was like, what else? If you're talking about movies, what other things? I was like, surely there can't be anything more on point than like Blockbusters. And I was like, so I was looking for a T-shirt, just like the old shirts, and a name badge maybe. I was like, I can make myself a name badge. And then I found the hat by accident. I was like, I wear a lot of hats because I'm bald as fuck. Like this could be a good mix for me. Solves like the head reflection problem, and it's nostalgic. So like, win-win.
You want to get one of them hats that have got like the hair attached to them as well. Just go. Have like full-on long hair like attached to the back of the hat.
Thing is, I'm always just thinking that you're thinking of very like Hasidic Jews almost, like having the curls down here. It's like, shalom. Let's talk about movies.
That's it. That's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing where you go with it and what you do with the Blockbuster side of it. Topical at the moment, mate. Topical with the Blockbuster TV show and the Blockbuster.
Happy coincidence with the TV show. I kind of didn't know about it until it is weird that it's on Netflix.
That was the irony. What the funny thing is, the reviews are saying that Netflix was obviously what put Blockbuster out of business.
That's actually not true. I watched. So it's a really common misconception. So when I watched the last Blockbuster, which is the documentary that you can get on ITV Hub, which is an app everyone has downloaded on their TVs. I didn't download it especially to watch that. I went to ITV Hub, watched the documentary, and they actually have like the people from the behind the business. I mean, it talks about like the history of it and the last Blockbuster going. But the actual downfall for Blockbuster was basically it was in a better position than Netflix when the Lehman Brothers started the financial crisis. The problem is the company that owned Blockbusters originally basically allocated all their debt to Blockbusters. So when the crash happened, Blockbusters basically had no capital, but Netflix, being quite a small company, actually still had all their capital because they were a small startup still. So it actually, if that hadn't happened, or if Blockbuster didn't inherit the debt from the company that was trying to buy Paramount Pictures, because Blockbuster was even considering doing a theme park at one point, that the Blockbusters actually would have been the successful because they had already started progressing and turned their base, but they didn't have the capital to start investing in new customers. So it wasn't actually that Netflix went out of business, because Netflix even asked Blockbusters if they wanted to buy it at one point. Like, they went to Blockbuster and said, do you want to buy Netflix? And then the guy who said no got fired, weirdly. But yeah, so that's actually true. It's a misconception that Netflix actually didn't put Blockbusters out of business. It was the Lehman Brothers financial crisis crash.
Oh, right.
Tune in next week when we'll be talking about other lost franchises. We'll talk about the fall of VHS.
Why Mother Care didn't, but no, I do know that Blockbuster had an opportunity to go to streaming before Netflix did, and they turned their nose up at it. And that
it was to be Netflix. That was the thing. It was to buy Netflix. That was the streaming part there, the opportunity for.
Yeah.
It was basically to make that not exist.
The thing is, though, I do, like, we were talking about this and about cinemas and that kind of stuff earlier on, and like, I do miss the video shop element, but I wouldn't trade it for what we have now. No, like, that's the funny thing. I really wouldn't. It's
more nostalgic now, isn't it? It's more of a like Friday night with your dad walking into the walking into Blockbuster and like being able to choose one of those videos that were like $175 for 7 nights or whatever it was.
I think the thing is, I sort of I get what you're saying. I don't know if I would trade it, but I think there's weirdly still a place for it, because the problem with everything now is we've almost got to, like with most things, when things go to a peak that then they start to fall. We've got such a peak of having everything at our fingertips, but it's so without any kind of humanity. Like it's just clicking on something and then you're almost got too much information. And actually, a lot of people are now, it's like buying things online. People have started trying to go back to shops because people want to talk to someone about what they're buying. They want to go to someone, what do you want, and stuff like that.
I avoid humans at all costs.
Yeah. I can just about tolerate you two. Like it's me and Ryan were in person together at MCM, and that was a day's worth too much. Like it was kind of like, Ryan, I love you, Ryan, but we're no. But all jokes aside, I love you, Ryan. You know I do. Long time we've been friends. But talking about video shops, do you remember going into video shops when there was like a new release, and the video shop would have like 50 copies of this video, like the film, on the wall, and they would all they'd all be out, and you'd kind of, if you got in there at a certain time, and it would be like, oh yeah, I want to rent Armageddon or whatever, what the biggest blockbuster film was at the time. Oh yeah, sorry, we haven't got any copies. Oh, can you check the bins, see if anyone's returned it? Like, and they would go and check the return. That, oh, we've got one copy. You'd be like,
it hasn't been rewound yet. It hasn't been rewound yet though.
Yeah,
I remember Choices videos where I work, called Choices videos, and when we used to go in, I remember like when a big film was coming out, they would say like, you know, we've got so many copies of whatever it would be, Titanic coming on, you know, VHS. Would you like to pre-copy one, basically? Like, so you basically pay in advance to get it's like pre-order before pre-order existed. It's so weird.
Got to say, shout. Massachusetts in tonight. Hello, how you doing? We got quite a few people tuning in from different places tonight, which is nice. It's nice to know where people are from. Although I will show you this one, Ryan, because Andy's just said this from the north.
Yeah, I know. I've just responded to him, and I just cannot get on board. No,
I love a Greggs. I'm not going to lie.
I can confirm that. As being a fellow northerner, Greggs is a way of life up here.
I'll be completely honest. It's been raining
like
no business today. The rain has been coming down like some kind of biblical story. And we woke up this morning. We were like, should we get like a breakfast on Just Eat for us and the kids? Went to get a Greggs, and they weren't delivering. I was like, I don't want to go out because it's raining, but I want you to deliver me my Greggs because it's raining. So yeah, I just
don't have a very English palate. I don't like pie and, you know, when we're going nuts for roast dinners, or like pie and mash and gravy and stuff like that. I just can't get on board. It's not my kind of food.
That's the Londoner in me, mate. Oh, pie and mash.
Your voice changed back to Londoner for a second.
Do not come at me about my pie and mash, mate, and a bit of liquor on the
yeah, but do you know what? I'm your best friend, mate, because I'm never going to steal any of yours, and that's good. That's safe.
That's right. I'm going to take pie and mash.
Yeah, I'm the bloke to have around. You can have, when they go like, mushy peas on the side, you get an extra portion because you can have mine.
No, we're going pie and mash, mate. I'm taking your pie and mash. Right, look, Steve just said he works in a local video shop. I can actually trump you on that one, I think, because my aunt and uncle owned a video shop, which was really funny. And it was really weird. They owned it for like a couple of years, but it was like the coolest thing ever. It was like really, really, really cool. Yeah, really, really, really cool. And so I've just been thrown. Steve said he's from South East London. That's exactly where I was born. I'm gonna have to chat to you, Stephen, outside of this. Food of choice, hands down. But yeah, they owned a video shop, and it was something really cool about being able to go in there and get like I was gonna say X-rated, but that's wrong. But it wasn't the X-rated.
Behind the beaded curtain.
It wasn't the X-rated films at all. The 18+ films. That doesn't sound any better either. Hang on, let me rewind. The horror films that I couldn't rent at the age I was. They've been able to actually rent them, and that's how I saw a lot of the things we were talking about. From that's where we were talking last week about Creepshow and things like that. That's how I got to actually see them and all that kind of stuff. Northern Ireland in the house as well. What Legends figures are you all excited for next year from the leak? Ooh, depends what leak you're talking about there. You might have to be a bit more specific. Yeah, that was a different video store.
Are we referring to the leak of? Are we referring to the leak of Rectangular, and then like a couple of the Marvel Legends guys throwing a bit of a tantrum?
Which one? Have I missed this?
That's still my favourite moment.
I feel like I've missed this. What's the Habity Hat?
Let's share. I might have missed this.
That thing that happened with Ryan Ting and Rectangular, when Rectangular posted a bunch of pictures saying like these figures are coming out next year, and Ryan Ting just had a little bit of a.
No, that was Dan. Dan came back in. It wasn't Dan,
wasn't it?
It was Dan came back, and then the post disappeared on that. Yeah. I'm curious. What? Oh, so the Rectangular. Yeah, I mean Rectangular.
Yeah,
we've had Rectangular on the show before. Yeah, he's a good guy, and it's the leaks that he tends to be pretty spot on because it's all done from like SKU codes and stuff. So.
I think it's pretty spot on when the Marvel Legends guys get upset about it.
Yeah,
that's when you know it's real. If they had commented, we'd have all been like, maybe it's right. But because like they jumped on it, we're like, stop stealing our shit. Then it kind of makes you go, yeah, we hit.
It's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? That's kind of the worst poker face ever.
For me though, what I'm expecting from Legends and what I'm looking forward to, and it's hard to say really because I kind of spoke to Dan about this in the interview I did at MCM, but we're kind of at that stage now where we're kind of going full circle. And there was a time with Collected Legends where if you missed the boat on a character or you missed the boat on a certain figure, you weren't getting that unless you were paying the aftermarket price. Especially, being over here in the UK, it was a case of if you didn't get it, you were paying even more to get it shipped over or something. Whereas now we're kind of with characters like Strife and so Strife, Rogue, like all of those characters that we're now kind of seeing again. I don't know, it doesn't really feel like anything's really kind of off the table or really hard to get hold of, if that makes sense.
Let's have a look, because we can actually speculate a little bit, regardless of what Rectangular put out. We can kind of speculate ourselves, because if we look at the schedule of films to come out, normally the waves follow what's happening with movies, normally. So, when the Marvels is coming out, Ant-Man's coming out, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So, can we safely say we're going to get a Guardians wave, an Ant-Man Avengers series? So they're the kind of things you're looking at, really, isn't it, for next year's big ones? And then of course there'll be a bunch of X-Men ones thrown in.
Yeah, I think they'll go big on Guardians because you'll have the holiday special and you'll have Guardians 3, and we know that this is the kind of the last hoorah of this version of the Guardians. So I think they're going to go big on those, and we'll end up seeing 2-packs and deluxes, and probably a couple of waves as well. Ant-Man, though, I don't know, because we've already got Ant-Man figures, we've already got Wasp figures. Yes, there's the new Stinger character and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. We want Kang, obviously, but I'm very much I don't know. I just kind of enjoy it as it comes, if that makes sense. I just enjoy it as it comes.
I'm still holding out and hoping for a Midnight Suns wave at some point, especially with them new characters they announced the other day. Did you see the DLC characters?
I haven't seen them yet. I've seen the game and.
So Midnight Suns.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go on, mate.
Mine's going to be completely off tangent, but only vaguely Legends related. So go for it. You finish your point.
They announced the Midnight Suns were going to be getting an expansion pack pretty early on in the game. Deadpool's going to be one of the characters that's added, obviously, because he's popular. But he's got a wizard's hat on. He's in yellow and black, but he's got a wizard's hat on. It's like he's in a Dungeons and Dragons inspired outfit.
Brilliant.
And Morbius is being added, and Venom. So they all look awesome. Morbius in the gold and black just looks amazing. And they've already announced there's going to be more characters being added from the season pass as time goes on. So I mean, I'm invested in that game now. I can't wait for it to come out.
Well, I did kind of drop a hint with Dan in that interview and said about Midnight Suns, because they did the 2 Avenger game waves, didn't they? And that game tanked like absolutely tanked. Like people didn't even get behind that. As soon as it came out, they were against it, sort of thing. But there was 2 waves that went with that, and a couple of deluxe figures as well. And they've obviously done the Gamerverse Spider-Man and various spin-offs from that as well. So I did kind of hint towards, are we going to get anything like that? And from what I remember, he didn't kind of out and out say no to the Midnight Suns, but I think it'd be brilliant. I think it'd be an absolute moneymaker because they wouldn't have to do it. They wouldn't have to do a lot to the tooling. Like it'd be a little bit of extra sculpting and just a lot of repainting, and they would look amazing. But if there's none scheduled, I'm definitely going to be customizing some without a doubt because it just looks brilliant. It looks really, really good.
Yeah,
we had that Guardians game that blew up, and we've not had a single figure from it. So
I know, and I would have loved the '80s version of Star-Lord in his like red leather jacket and stuff. That were an awesome figure. Yeah, that would have made an amazing figure. And I was just going back to Midnight Suns. It would be so easy, and I think the wave would sell because it's Ghost Rider, Blade, Wolverine, and Iron Man. So the Wolverine and the Iron Man are just retools, aren't they? They're just repaints.
We don't talk about Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider and Blade, they could really make 2 really cool figures on, and they would sell instantly because they don't make many of them.
No.
Win. Sorry, go on.
Oh, it's come up and gone. There we go. Kitty Pryde is the best X-Man. Is that your username, just so that I have to say that out loud? But yes, Kitty Pryde's pretty cool. But interesting you mentioned Magic there, because Magic is one that we had a figure of not too long ago, but they haven't redone. So we had her twice, I believe. We had her one in the San Diego box set, the Dormammu something or other. There's like a big box set. And then we also got her as a Walgreens exclusive, I want to say, or a Target exclusive. I've got the single release one, but that's a figure that I'm so surprised that they haven't gone back and revisited, because so many people want a Magic in their collection. And I really hope that we do see another Magic soon. I would like to see her with a kind of New Mutants look, with like the heavy fringe and the kind of less, like the costume that obviously I've got is the big spiky arm and that stuff. I'd like to see like a more New Mutants kind of Kitty Pryde. But you've said the magic word of Ghost Rider there. I think we have to address the HasLab project.
That is actually what my little thing was about. But I was about to interrupt. Did you see that Steve Evans put a little sort of Instagram poll up, like just about a comment thing about HasLabs?
Yeah.
The other week on Instagram.
I voted. Interesting. Did you vote, even though you don't collect Legends?
I thought, yeah.
What did you say, out of curiosity? What's a legend? Just
yeah,
£500.
No, I was just very honest. I just said, if it was 3.75 inch, then I think it would have done a lot better. I'm joking. I didn't.
Star Wars have done good. Like the Black Series HasLabs have tanked, but the 375 blew it out of the water.
A 375-inch Fantastic R for your Fantastic 4-wave to go in. You know it'd sell.
Got mine up there. Yeah. But no, let's talk about Ghost Rider, why it's on. So, yes, I did have my stakes in it, but like I said last week, I don't think it was ever going to get backed. So after that first sort of week, I just kind of left it in there. I put my number down at the beginning, like most of us. It was kind of like, oh, okay, and then a lot of people kind of got cold feet, and I just let mine sit, and I did forget about it, to be fair. And I woke up in the morning going, oh, I wonder if this has been completed. And I kind of reluctantly kind of went on the website, and I was like, oh, okay, phew. But yeah, it didn't get backed. Didn't meet its backing. And like you said, Steve Evans put out on his personal Instagram, so it wasn't affiliated to to Hasbro or anything like that, but basically asking, for anyone that didn't see it, asking what kind of thing you would like to see as a HasLab and what kind of price would you look to pay for that thing. So I'll be completely transparent. I said a Fing Fang Foom for around the £200 mark. I think that would be amazing. Like, great big articulated dragon.
Something people never think of when
Galactus and Sentinel did well. So.
Thing is, what they've done is with HasLab, they've put themselves in this position where they make everyone think that it has to be something massive and amazing and awesome now because they've made such big products in the past. Why couldn't they give us a wave of figures for a set price with no tiers, just a set of figures, basically like 6 figures in a wave with a builder figure, like a HasLab exclusive builder figure wave, and literally give us characters like Mephisto, Green, the Goblin Queen, and characters they couldn't normally release at mass retail due to what they are. Put the characters out we want with a slightly higher price point maybe, but with a decent builder figure, and put that as your set. Don't have any tiers, and just say, look, this is it. Pre-order it now, and do that as HasLab. It would sell.
Well, I think that's a genius idea. But can you imagine the videos that people would do about it? Because say they got 11,000 backers at £200 for this wave. Like they would make stupid profit on this wave of figures over other waves of figures, and then everyone would be kicking off, going, "Oh, well, actually, they've made so much money off of this wave of figures." But in reality, you've not paid much more for a wave of figures than you would have anyway. But I think that's a genius. I think that's a brilliant way forward. And you could, the tiers could almost be an additional figure or
something. Don't even need to do tiers. The tiers thing is a bad way of doing business, in my opinion, because you're basically saying the tiers should always be a reward. When you start talking about tiers up front before you've made a product, you're already saying, I've got other things I could give you, but I'm not going to. It's like when DLC became a thing when they started going, the game's coming out, but half of it's locked away. It's like that's the thing. DLC should have always been something in addition to the game, not something built in pre-market. And that's what seems like HasLab are doing, which is wrong in my opinion. They're kind of going, this is a product I'm going to release, but I've got these tiers locked off that you want to get, but you've got to get the backing numbers. That's a bad way to do business.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And with the earlier HasLabs, they were the tiers really did feel like it was a reward. It was like, wow, we've got 12,000 backers, so we're going to throw this in. Now, whether they had that already planned or not, it worked better. Whereas the last 3 or 4, it's been kind of a, come on, look, if you back it and enough of you back it, we're going to give you this extra. It's almost like, a shop doing something that worked and then them trying to turn that thing that worked once into a business model. And I don't know if it worked.
On that note, though, the Mattel Creations one, the Masters of Universe Origins Eternia playset. That is up to 8,539 backers, so it's well over its 5,000 target. And they've also announced. So originally they had a 10,000 on. Well, they had the 10,000 unlock was just Care Club, but they originally had King Grayskull as just the sort of, if you backed it from the start in the first week, I think it was something like that. But they've actually said there's enough demand for it now that if we get to the final tier, we'll just chuck it in for everybody. So, which I still think that would have probably helped the Ghost Rider community thing a little bit longer, because that really pissed a lot of people off.
I don't think it would have, to be perfectly fair.
Oh no, it just would have been. I still don't think it would have been back, but I think it would have been there would have been a smaller gap to it being back. Because a lot of people dropped off after that as well.
I think even in that last week, if they had turned around and gone, you know what, all tiers included for your price, I still don't think it would have met the backing, because there was such a people were using it as a, this isn't, this is our stand, this is us talking. But have you seen there's a third party company that are going to basically redo the HasLab? Have you seen this?
No.
Yeah, so I can't remember which. I'm going to have to look it up. But there was. Well, I'm going to have to find it. Hang on, just talk amongst yourselves about.
Officially, they won't be able to do it, but that doesn't stop anyone. You think about it, it's the world of 3D printing. You get things just manufactured in China. The thing is, what it would be called is, it won't be called the Ghost Rider guy. It would be called like Spirit Vehicle or something like that. But it'll be just something along those lines. It won't be a carbon. Exactly, it will be something like that.
Hang on, I'm going to find it. I know I saw it posted.
The car with a boot full of vengeance.
I will find it in 2 secs.
But it's like how Doctor Wu, or the amount of third-party Transformers companies or third-party Star Wars companies, there's huge amounts. If it's things that just they're not going to make, they don't seem to be that bothered.
No, Haslam seems to encourage it on some level. All the guys at the marketing teams have always seemed to encourage it. They kind of like it themselves when like new sculpts come out and people can have like different accessories and things. They seem to be behind that because they're never going to make them.
Yeah, and I suppose they're never going to make this car now, so are they going to be that fast?
I don't know who it was that posted it. I know someone shared it. I saw it pop up on Facebook.
And I bet you it will be cheaper than what the HasLab was.
Well, that's kind of what they're saying. I can't find it now. I really wanted to read what they said.
I still really can't see where the money was in that. And I get the scale differences and stuff like that, but I keep looking at it and I still just cannot, for the life of me, work out where the money is with it. Like where the value is in it.
No,
I've watched too much of Elite Legends videos. Every time we mention this Ghost Rider, I can hear his voice in my head. I can just hear his voice now in my head.
I don't watch him. What's his thing?
Oh, it's called Elite Legend, and he likes to take the mick out of one of our fellow British YouTubers that we all know and love, Mr. Who.
Oh,
and,
Wham!
It's quite funny. He literally goes for the juggler at Dan Who quite regularly.
He really does. I don't understand why he's got an issue with him, but he
doesn't. I think he's just one of them people that I don't think he actually means what he says in a nasty way. I think he's just like he likes to do the satire stuff because it gets him clicks and views, and obviously now his channel's built around that. He has to keep it going, and he gets more hits when obviously if he can mention Dan Who, that means he can use Dan Who's tags, Dan Who's hashtags. So all of Dan Who's following will just then find Elite Legend very easily.
Yeah, it's a very clever tactic.
So I mean, yeah, if he can throw his picture up every now and again, doing the little crying emoji, going Robbie, and that's all, then it gets him clicks, doesn't it?
Oh, I'm really annoyed. I can't find it.
I wish I was on someone's. I wish I were on some American YouTuber's radar taking the mick out of me. I'd love
that. But I can't find it at the moment. But I will look for. I will look it up. But basically, it's this company. Basically, they've not called it a Ghost Rider. They've not called it anything like that. But it's essentially a muscle car, and they've said that if they get 4,000 backers, they could produce it. And it's basically, it says that it's not got any figures included with it, but if they reach 9,000, like the certain people were asking for, they could include all related figures or something like that. And yeah, it basically, it was called like Halloween Project or Project Halloween. Or why didn't I just Google that? Why didn't I just Google that? But yeah, I just want to read the press release about it now. But it was really interesting. Like a lot of people started talking about it and stuff. Come on. No, let's put Project Halloween. There's too many things in there. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there's talk of it coming out. But I don't know. I think for me, the reason I was excited about it, regardless of cost and all that kind of stuff, is that as someone that customizes, the Hell Charger, Robbie Reyes, like that was something that was on my radar, and I've done a Robbie Reyes, and I was kind of I want his car even just for some shots. So when they were going to produce one, I was like, okay, this is cool. But I'm not surprised in the slightest that it didn't get backed. Not surprised at all. Has either of you gentlemen seen Black Adam? Either of you go and see it?
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah, I just unfortunately I've really been busy, because my parents are moving. So I've only had like a couple of films I can sort of like slots to run and watch films. So I watched. I caught a really late showing of the new Halloween movie the other night. Finally got to see that. And then because I went with that one because I thought that Halloween's over now. That's probably going to be out first, and then Black Adam I'm seeing tomorrow. But I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I wanted to see it when it came out. I just didn't have the time, but it's one that I've been really excited about it.
It's really making waves, like really, really making waves for DC, which is cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to catch it probably next week at some point. But I know so much about it now. Like, I've seen so much shared about it. There's very little to kind of be,
I still actually know pretty much nothing about it.
Oh, really?
I know the sort of the characters in it. but I knew that sort of from the trailers and a lot of the pre-release stuff. But the storyline and stuff like that, I've got no idea. I don't know how long it is. I do know. I've managed to completely sort of stay under the radar. I've got no idea what to expect. I'm just looking forward to it.
So you have no idea about the post-credit scene?
I know there's a cameo, but I don't know who it's from. I know it's from someone from like the existing DC character. But my guess is either going to be my guess would be it's either going to be Superman or Shazam, just because Henry Cavill's been in the news a lot about Superman recently. So I'm guessing that's probably either going to be linked, or it's going to be or Shazam, because obviously it's linked as Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Maybe would be my two guesses, because you got Batman, Ben Affleck coming back for the Flash, if the Flash ever getting released, because Ezra Miller's turned out to be an absolute bell end. So whatever happening with that.
Do you know the one I'm still
Ben Affleck coming back instead of Michael Keaton is just such a letdown, isn't it? It's like, you could have had Keaton, but no, we're downgrading.
Keaton already is in it, isn't he? Keaton's already in it.
And they scrapped that now. In that whole thing scrapped.
No, because Keaton was also in Batgirl.
Yeah.
But the Batgirl got axed. But Keaton was both in Batgirl and in the Flash. So that's funny.
See,
if the Flash gets axed, yeah, I'm really annoyed about Batgirl still, genuinely, because also had Brendan Fraser in it, and the man is just the actor equivalent of a teddy bear. I would love to have seen him being like sort of a villain. I don't know why I just really wanted to see him as a villain. But yeah, so if the Flash gets axed, because you never know what Ezra Miller's going to do next. It turns out it's been setting fire to puppies and swearing at the moon or something. I don't know, but that means that there really would be no more Michael Keaton Batman, which means he would have filmed 2 lots of being Batman again that will never be seen.
I'm just really annoyed that we got DC films like the Green Lantern produced, and then Batgirl that looked absolutely insane. We're never going to see.
Finished and completed, ready to go.
That really upsets me. The DC
for a tax break as well.
Really annoyed. I know.
For a tax break, like, why couldn't you just, if you didn't think there was any profit in releasing it on streaming, release it on DVD or something? Just do it on physical media, so everyone has to buy it on physical media, because then you make some money.
Yeah, it's
just such a Paramount Plus being such a big thing. It would appear on there, like they'd buy the rights to sell it on Paramount Plus or wherever.
It was that, and the other victim was the Scoob too, because they did the animated film Scoob, didn't they? Which was quite successful, and they did the second one of that, and again that was, I think, like 80% done, and they pulled the plug on that as well. Because those 2 films basically it's all to do with a tax break, and the problem with the tax break is that means legally I think they can't ever show it, and the directors couldn't even get access to it, because the second they found out, they went to their computers to try and save some stuff from it that they've been working on, and it basically, the company had already blocked them out. So the directors were gutted, because we couldn't even do a Ryan Reynolds and
Well, they're the same guys that worked on Miss Marvel, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah, like the brother duo.
Yeah, so I'm still really gutted about it. It just looked really good, and I was really looking forward to, because also they had J.K. Simmons back as Jim Gordon in that one, I believe.
I don't really get it. I think it was a myth. Like, there's so many good things about this film. Oh yeah, no, never existed. It's gone. Oh yeah, like it's like, let's just talk about the ultimate DC film. Yeah, we got this person back as this character, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then all of a sudden, no, it's gone. Sorry.
I suppose they did say that they would absolutely never ever see a Snyder cut, didn't we, of Justice League? So. As much as I don't think it will ever happen, I'm not going to completely. I will 99% write it off, but I'll never 100%. After the Snyder Cut turnaround, you never know.
It's not. You could even go further than that and talk about Spider-Man being in the MCU, like with all the studios and the Sony. Everyone was always like, "Oh yeah, we'll never see Spider-Man like in the MCU," and things got worked out. Do you know what I mean? So.
Let's just hope they can take all the audio from the movie and then get the animation team to stick some lovely DC animation over the top of it, make the characters from the animated film look like the movie characters. Bob's Your Uncle, new movie.
I talk about animation, CGI. You know what? I'm going to put my hands up and admit it now, right? When I saw Green Lantern,
me and Jacob had this conversation.
I absolutely loved it. When it first came out, I was like, this is it. I've seen the peak of superhero movies. Like I have lived now. But then as that kind of aged, I was like, no, this is awful. Like, this is awful. But at the time, I was like, this is just a comic book movie. Like, it's big, it's over the top. It's like, and yeah, I really enjoyed it when I saw it in the cinema.
Actually still stick it on sometimes. I've got the extended cut on Blu-ray. I still maintain that Mark Stronger's Sinestro was incredible casting, and I think the bit at the end where he puts the yellow ring on, I'm always gutted that they didn't even at least use him as Sinestro again, although I don't think they will at this point. But he was such good casting with the voice. He was like the comic book character come alive.
Yeah.
That was the thing I was most gutted about, actually.
When I think about Green Lantern, that's the visual that pops into my head. It's that post-credit scene. That's, and I think, but the reason I think I enjoyed it so much is that it was at the time when I was really deep into Blackest Night, Brightest Day, like reading those story arcs, and I was really into the Lanterns and all of the, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I think that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I was so much into the comic books at the time. So talking of films as well, you talk about New Mutants. Yeah, it was all right. it was a film.
I still haven't seen it.
It's on Disney Plus.
I know, it's just finding the time, isn't it? And also I think I wasn't that excited about it because it just getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and then came out, and everyone that came out be like,
one thing I will say about it is there are certain characters in it that if they showed up in other franchises and other films, I'd be more than happy. There was some really good depictions of certain characters. Magic being
that's Anna Taylor-Joy being the main one.
Yeah, Magic was brilliant, and if she was all that we get from that film elsewhere, I'll be a happy fan.
The fact that she can jump dimensions, because that is her power. If she literally just appeared in, if they just made her appear in the next Deadpool movie, Bob's mate, and have that as a way into the MCU, just don't explain it. Just have her appear through a portal.
Yeah,
just like Doctor Strange does. And especially as we're heading into that era now with supposedly Mephisto, we're getting into the darker side. She's a character that can communicate with the demonic realm and stuff. We need Magic. She's one of the demonic characters, one of the heroes.
Yeah. Have we even discussed the Ant-Man film trailer? Did we discuss that when it came out?
We didn't even discuss it. Did we? No.
That
came out like a few weeks ago. We never talked about it because it was I think we had a guest on. I think we had someone on.
Did we?
Didn't we have Nerdzoic on last week?
Well, we had Nerdzoic on last week, so we kind of rushed the news a little bit from all the Comic Cons and stuff. We kind of rushed through it to talk about other stuff. But yeah, and I think the week before we kind of like brushed over a few trailers. Like the new Avatar trailer dropped, didn't it, as well? That looks really good. It kind of fleshed out the movie a little bit more, gave you an idea of what it's about. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Avatar I'm looking forward to. The Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, I was kind of a little bit. I enjoyed it. I thought it looked quite cool. But I was just because MODOK's supposedly in this one, isn't he?
Supposedly.
Yeah, but there was no sign of him in the trailer. And
but I think that's something they're going to leave to the last minute, though. Let's be honest. Yeah.
I just hope
you don't put MODOK out in your first trailer if that's your big sort of, your big hook sort of thing.
It's just mad to kind of, as a comic book fan, to be at a stage where I'm like, there's a film about to come out that's got like Kang and MODOK and like Ant-Man, and like it's just mad.
Set in the quantum realm.
Never thought I'd see those. Do you remember back in the day as well when they were first talking about doing Ant-Man and Will Ferrell was in the running as Ant-Man? Like there was a lot of talk of, Will Ferrell's going to be Ant-Man because he's a comedic character and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, really? A
lot of people weren't so sure about Paul Rudd. But then, I've always maintained, though, with Ant-Man, it's kind of one of the funnier powers in modern day sort of things. You needed it to have a comedic edge. Because I kind of feel like, weirdly, playing Ant-Man completely straight just sort of doesn't work as well. I know it sounds stupid, but I just don't know if it would lend itself to being like having the seriousness of Captain America, the first Captain America, for example.
Yeah. Going the other way, where he grows up, when he makes himself big. Right, fair enough. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Tiny's funny. I think because especially for the generation that are really enjoying it, we're still thinking Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah. Brilliant films.
But in the trailer for Ant-Man, they made out like Michelle Pfeiffer's like already knows about Kang technically or something. She knows about something because she's like scared of going back to the quantum realm, and
she's ballsed up massively somewhere. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I reckon that she was like she settled down in the quantum realm. She didn't think she was coming out. She's got a kid and another another husband somewhere. It's probably Kang, and it's like she's don't go back, don't go back.
Kang's sitting there like, you said you were going to get milk and you never came back.
And that's what launches the Kang Dynasty films, like know that basically she dumped him.
Oh, that Kang wants is another baby. She's gone to another dimension. Oh, that she wants.
I think them two will get killed off in this film, to be honest.
I think, I mean,
Michelle Pfeiffer and I forgot his name, the original Ant-Man. I reckon them two will probably get killed off in this film.
Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Hank Pym. Yeah, well, Michelle Pfeiffer and Hank Pym, like Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas. Hank Pym is a pretend person. It's but no, I agree. I think that's the only way that they could. They're the only characters that they could essentially, write off and still move forward with the story. So, or there'll be some kind of sacrifice or something along those lines that
I would like to see footage of what's his name, Lawrence Fishburne, back in the day as his old superhero that they talked about in the last one in Ant-Man and the Wasp. They talked about obviously Lawrence Fishburne. They talking about his guy when he was what was his character name? That when he could basically turn giant, and they get into a bit of a pissing contest about who grew bigger.
Why am I going blank? It will come to me in a sec. Yes, Like the original Goliath.
Goliath, yeah. I want to see some I don't know, maybe some kind of some go back scenes or something like that. I want to see Goliath because you can't. It's like saying just having a character go and you come in going like, I used to be Iron Man, but he's never in his armor. And he just comes in and goes, and you go, all right, mate. Okay, cool. I feel like it's a bit of a cheap one. You can't say I used to be Goliath and go people are going to want to see you as Goliath.
Yeah.
And it's obviously he's not going to get a prequel film, is he? Because I mean, he's older. Yeah. But you need a digital rendered flashback at least. Just he doesn't even have to take the mask off. He just has to be in costume.
Yeah. So and we're getting dangerously close as well to the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that comes out this month. So we've got two. Yeah, we've got two kind of big Marvel properties, Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, both dropping this month, which is crazy. I still can't believe.
I don't think they're going to do very well though, because obviously the Santa Claus is coming out, the series, that's coming out this month, and I just don't know if Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy can compete with that. I mean, I'm genuinely, hand on heart, I'm buzzing for Santa Clauses. I'm sitting there and in my head, that was the equivalent of hearing the Coca-Cola Christmas advert. When I saw that trailer, genuinely almost got a bit emotional because I was especially because I was Bernard's back. Ah!
I was excited for it.
Yeah, a bunch of people this week in the groups were saying, but he looks too old to play an elf now. I'm like, you do realize he's meant to be hundreds of years old. He's not meant to be like so technically he is older than all of them. So it's fine that he looks older.
I was excited for that until I saw the trailer for Spirited. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds.
The problem is as well, I'm so biased because me and my partner have an agreement that if Ryan Reynolds comes to town and says to me, Ryan, let's get this on, let's do this, that me and my other half, we had a good run. Caroline understands it, but I'm going off Ryan Reynolds. She's got the same agreement with Paul Rudd. I've got it with Ryan Reynolds. It's all good. It's all kosher. And then I see things so I'm excited about Santa Clauses, and I think, oh, look, there's an Apple TV trailer. I'm like, Apple TV. We've got that through a phone, but there's some good stuff on it. But whatever. I watched the trailer, and then 3 seconds later, I'm like, "You're talking about Christmas." And I'm so excited for it. I'm like, Ryan Reynolds, you beautiful man. You're just doing everything now. Now you're in. I already had a Ryan Reynolds Christmas film, and now I have two because I had Just Friends. But it's just I can't wait. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a good one. I think it's really going
It's
to be
a good
one.
Christmas.
Yeah. Oh man. My favourite figure so far. Before we do round off, Japanese Spider-Man.
Japanese Spidey.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
Ayla Sakura this week for me. Ayla Sakura looks beautiful.
Are we
Where is that?
doing figure of the week now? Is that what we're doing?
Let me go get it.
Yeah. Figure of the week.
All right. Figure of the week. I'm going to go full 90 since I'm in a Blockbusters hat. That's G2 Cindersaw.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, mine's
See-through
translucent
translucent plastic, which is just glorious. They don't do translucent plastic as much anymore. I miss translucent plastic.
Or it might be my new new Mojo.
I love that picture you posted, by the way, of that.
Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool.
MCU Namor figure for me. I would say your screen name, but I'll try. Viviza Daza Kazo and Nun 97. I obviously said that really well, and I'm sure you're going to put in the comments going, Ryan Speaks Here, you nailed that. You said that exactly how it's meant to be pronounced. But yeah, the Namor figure does look good. Even though I'm not a Marvel Legends collector, I have to say that whole wave looks good. That's the one. That's the Badger.
Yep.
When was the last time we had an Aztec style figure of any kind? I love that Ash just sitting there casually with a blue chick. She's here. Blue never die.
But so yeah, my favorite figures of the week have got to be Ayla Sakura. I've been waiting so long for this figure, and she does not disappoint. She looks so good.
I got all of these to get through. This was my parcel this week. I was like, oh wow, I've got to somehow get through all this.
I didn't really have anything like that delivered this week. I'm pretty boring. Like I've got my little 90s Transformer, but that's actually because he was to hand. I didn't really get anything this week.
In all fairness, Jacob, everything for me just arrived at once.
Have you got this scary lady yet?
Let's have a look.
It's in the box. It's going to be in that box, isn't it?
No one.
Mate, she's a nightmare to stand. This hairpiece is so heavy.
Oh, I could tell from the
top of it. So I use the flight stand. She looks so much better on a flight stand.
Although my creme de la creme.
Nice.
Cell shaded animated Spider-Man. That's
Does this make me look more 90s if I have a 80s, 90s, if I have Blockbusters and a boombox on my shoulder?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, that works.
And I tell you what, I know we don't talk DC very regular around here, but
we should do because DC's awesome.
This penguin is possibly the best penguin I've ever owned. He looks so good. He's the winner from the wave. That wave, he's the winner.
I can't help but when I hear penguin, I can't say it properly anymore because of Benedict Cumberbatch. Because he does that whole thing. Have you seen the video? He's like, he actually did a voiceover on a nature show and he just couldn't say penguin. It just gets worse. Like, look it up on YouTube. Like Graham Norton.
Really funny.
It's like pingling when the pingling, it just gets worse every time.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It's a very funny clip actually.
It's also sorry.
I always upset my parents when I talk about Penguin because I have a proper sad childhood story about Penguin. Because when I grew up, obviously we grew up in the 90s with Batman Returns, and obviously I grew up being obviously with my false leg, disabilities and all that kind of stuff. So I felt different. And when you show me a movie when I'm age 6, 7, about a family that throw away a disabled child because they don't want him because he looks weird, that just speaks on a whole fucking new level of disabled man.
Oh, mate.
I used to root for Penguin and cry.
Oh, mate, I wouldn't even thought about
Are you going to start running for mayor now then?
See, everyone else is like, why do you like Penguin? I'm like, it's a deeper thing.
It's
I didn't like him because he was deformed.
Oh, mate, that's hard.
At least I can hand on heart say to people say do you know anyone who's got favorite villain is Penguin? I'll be like, yes, and I know a man who has a very deep emotional connection to Penguin. So be very careful about what you say next.
I don't want to say anything bad about Penguin now. I feel like I owe him something. Yeah, he's a good guy.
I'm still a big fan of the Burgess Merriweather one from the Adam West. That's my favorite Penguin. Also, because I didn't make the connection that Santa Claus the movie, not the one with Tim Allen, like the original with like Dudley Moore and that. Yeah, so Burgess Merriweather is the elder elf that they go to with the giant long beard. That's Penguin, and it's just like I only found that out like about 2 or 3 years ago, despite having watched both of these things my entire life. And then you just like part of you go like, oh, part of my life has been a lie. What is this? What? But yeah, there you go, little fun facts. It's such an educational show.
Yeah, we'll try our best. I think that's going to bring us up to a close. Yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? So come on in. What's the thing that you're looking forward to most this week? For me, it's definitely Wakanda Forever, and the fact that I basically just got all my action figures delivered at once, so I'm gonna have a really fun week, go through them all. But no, Wakanda Forever is definitely the big one for me this week.
Still Andor for me. It's the thing I look forward to every week. I get so excited about it, genuinely. I actually get up early to watch it before work starts.
Where are they at the moment? Are they doing the quest?
Just the quest. It's not fucking D&D. Like doing a quest.
I tried to be really serious. Are they doing a quest in space?
You have my lightsaber and my blaster.
Are they doing a mission?
All of the Star Rings over here coming up with a quest. God, this isn't Geek Week, really, is it? It's just Marvel Legends in review, isn't it? You like, what's going on, you two?
Before you came on, we talked about loads of stuff.
So now it's my fault. Wow.
Yeah. No, I like I said, and I'm gonna say it now again at the end of the show, is that I had a conversation with somebody that I work with who really likes Andor and Rogue One and that kind of stuff, and I was like, you know what, I love Rogue One as well, but I don't think I would have stuck with it if I'd watched it in like 8 parts as like a series, and so I think that's the reason why I'm kind of stepping back off Andor, so that I can just sit down and binge watch. I think I've got about 4 built up at the moment, 4 or 5, so. That's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to binge watch them in one go, and then.
Oh, I do hope you enjoy it. The thing is, it's not going to be for everyone. What is really good though, Andy Serkis is back in it, and which is really good because he's such a good actor. I had no idea he was going to be in it. He popped up in it, and I was like, "What the crap, Andy Serkis?" But not all motion capture stuff, just actually Andy Serkis.
So they do go on a quest. It's Gollum. So they do go on a quest.
I quit.
You gave that
I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. Ryan Speaks Geek. This is his last episode. He's not doing it anymore. Until Andor's done. And the shit storm stops.
Listen. For next week's show, I would have watched it, and then we can have a massive chat about Andor because I would have watched it and I probably would have loved it. And
I'm not here next week.
It's just I'm away now. No, but I still haven't finished Thousand Jedi. So,
mate, to be fair, I haven't finished Miss Marvel, and I have not finished She-Hulk still. Which is just shocking. The thing is, that's the thing about these shows, though. Like, there's just so much to watch now on all the streamers, and you've got to kind of almost go with what your favorite things are. Like, you're always going to prioritize Marvel. I'm always going to prioritize Star Wars. But realistically, even with the amount of Star Wars stuff coming out, like was it last year when we had it was Book of Boba and Bad Batch or one of the two or something like that? Just all of the shows coming out at once now, it's so difficult. Even though they try and space them, to try and actually have a regular time, sort of every week, to try and go and see something, as well as trying to watch everything else you're watching, and do life stuff. It is quite difficult, and it is great how much stuff is being made, but at the same time, I kind of some of it, I'm like a bit like, can we just pause? Can I have a couple of months to catch up, please?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you. What about you, Sorrell? What are you looking forward to this week?
Oh, I don't know, I really don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't have any plans, that's the thing. And I've received everything and I've unboxed everything. So I'm kind of out of stuff now. I need to go shopping.
See, I was out last week, so I had stuff arriving and piling up. So I was out of my house last week. I've got so much stuff that I haven't even got to, and I'm just like, this is really exciting. Like, it's pre-Christmas and I've got loads to open. So I'm excited.
At the moment, we're kind of like saving the pennies now. I'm going to go to Florida in like 12 weeks, I think it is. So just saving the pennies because obviously there's the new Guardians of the Galaxy shop. So I'm going to go spend some money, and then obviously Galaxy's Edge as well. So Marvel and Star Wars is going to steal all my pennies in the coming months.
Yeah. Actually, come think out, I got Paris in a couple of months. Better start thinking about that.
You've got the Avengers.
Thinking about that. Yep.
I've got a day off in a couple of months. Might go out for a bit. See what's knocking about town.
We went to MCM last weekend.
Yeah, but you guys are talking about stuff in the future. I've got nothing to talk about in the future.
I'm sure we can work something out. But I think that's about it for this week. I think we take it to a nice comfortable close. I've got a real feeling that there's going to be a couple of leaks and a couple of drops in this coming week. It just seems very quiet on that front. That there's not been anything kind of teased. There's not been anything leaked. So I think we're about to see something. So my prediction is that in the coming week we're going to see something that we're going to want to talk about. But there we go. So I suppose, if you're still watching, appreciate you. If you're listening on podcast, again, appreciate you as well. Please do like, share, subscribe, and all those things. If you need links to everyone's channels, they're all on geekweekinreview.co.uk. Thanks everyone in the comments. Thanks for joining in and jumping in with the chat. It's been anything else anyone wants to say?
Falafel.
See you next week. Keep it geek.